Hey, Rockin'
Yeah.
Larry Locken. You're tuned to the Consciousness Conversations with Carolyn and Larry show. I'd like to welcome everybody, whatever time zone you may be listening to, spanning this incredible crystal ball known as Mother Gaia. And before we get started, I would like to send my condolences out, of course, on behalf of the show, and I'm sure Carolyn as well, to the families of Hulk Hogan, Ozzy Osbourne, and Malcolm Jamal Warner, who played Theo on The Cosby Show in the 1980s, for people that are dating themselves like myself by remembering that show. So, Carolyn, good morning down in San Antonio, Texas. How are you?
Hey, I'm awesome. I say this every podcast, but to
You
me,
do.
all that exists is this moment, and I'm beyond grateful to bring it on today and for anybody listening in this now or any other now.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Awesome. We're going to talk about the word peace today. What it's meant, what it means, where it's going, what the difference between yesteryear, what it means then maybe to some people, and what it means when they hear it now, what your stereotype of the thought may be. Carolyn first is going to get into a little bit of words of wisdom for us to kind of relax and get into the flow of the show. Are you ready for that, my dear sister?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Okay. So this is words of wisdom, positive alignment, prayer, whatever resonates for you. Um, Offered to assist you in connecting with your uh, highest now, highest ability to receive whatever will serve you the best. Beautiful soul. Okay, so if you are open to it, close your eyes. Begin to become conscious of your breath and slow it down. Begin to put your focus in the internal. If there are thoughts spinning, understand that you are not those thoughts. They're just moving through you. There's that thought, there it goes. There's the next one, there it goes. And just take a breath and come back into the present moment. And now I'm going to call in what my guides call the litany. Mother, Father, God, our higher selves, our I am, our guides, our ancestors, our star brothers and sisters, our star family, our angels, archangels, and their divine counterparts, masters, ascended masters, and other Christed beings. Elohim, elementals, Dragon Collective, any other Christed beings, and any nows that wish to participate in this prayer and in this podcast, to bring forward the highest truth that will serve the collective in this moment of now, in this subject, in this energy, in this focus, and this intent of peace that we will discuss, and to open them, welcome them, invite them into this focus, this choice, this shift, and the depths of it, which really, truly, to me, have not really been explored in the collective by the media as it truly is, as I receive. It is much deeper than what has been conveyed. And it is a profound tool. It is the most significant tool offered in these podcasts, in my opinion, to help, to assist, to guide, to anchor in every now for every soul as they choose and allow. May this serve your magnificent heart, and may the blessings be. Thank you.
Amen. Wonderful. As always. It's really
Oh, interesting. You there, Larry? And we glitched in the first 5 minutes of the podcast. We have officially glitched. You there, Larry? Larry, hi. So this podcast is about peace, and my awesome co-pilot over there is frozen. I'm grateful for everybody watching. This is a very significant subject for me, and it's not, to me, it's only been lightly explored at certain levels. I'll say that. And it's offered to help you anchor it within yourself as you choose and allow. You there, Larry?
I'm there finally. Yeah, I'm here finally. I don't know what the hell happened.
5 minutes in, a little out of 5, and there you go. You're gone.
Yeah, no, already ready to boot us off, man. Are the guys? Yeah. Okay, you guys have had a show now.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I see that. Hulk.
Yeah.
All of them, all 3 of them. Yes.
Yeah. All 3 of them. Yeah, I lost my train of thought now. This word peace, I guess it couldn't come at a better time. Peace. I hope they all had a peaceful passing. But tell me what was going through your mind a little bit when we first broached this subject of discussing this word and where it's evolved to, and where it came from and all that jazz, as far as you understand it.
I mean, peace for me, and I'm same age as you, so for peace for me was the peace that I saw like in the 70s, and it's not the peace now, but this was the peace I was brought up with, was the peace and the peace and I'm not saying that this still isn't the peace, but the newer level of it that I have received, and it was in the channel in the intro to this podcast, was when my guides gave this to me years ago. It kind of blew my mind, because I had always thought that it was this passive energy of ignoring and denying and not seeing these other things happening. And what I offer now is that it's like it's the energy of the transformed warrior, as they've taken the intensity of the journeys they've been through, and they anchor it into a focus that will ultimately serve all. And it's kind of like, it's the place you reach when your soul, when you've seen it, you've seen it, you've been there, you've done that, and you know that those other ways don't work, that they come up, that they want to be addressed, and at some point they will be addressed. But then you go through those, and the other side of those isn't more of that. It's a place of being open, and a place of holding space for everybody, for every expression. It's a place of being aware that others have choices, and you may not agree with those choices, but it's understanding that your reaction and your ability to accept those choices, or even cope with those choices, comes from your ability to hold peace in your body, which is not a passive focus. It's actually like a dogged, determined focus of deliberate releasing, deliberate letting go, deliberate faith, deliberate trust. And it doesn't come from a place of like weakness or any of these other things that I was brought up with when I was younger, with no judgment on those at all, because, everybody did what they did.
Those goddamn hippies. Yeah. Oh, look at all that peace.
They're beautiful. They did what they did, and we are where we are because of what
I
they
know.
paved the
Well,
way for, right? But
I can, yeah.
go on, Larry.
I was going to say, I can hear my grandparents now. I can hear that old paradigm as it opposed to is that young, as that word was coming into more fruition with the
Oh
younger,
God, yeah.
hipper generation talking about it, which would have been the baby boomer hippies at the time, but versus how their parents saw it. My grandparents' generation, right? Looked at that word
Right,
peace.
right.
And so there's all these connotations along with it, and even people that are really into it never really give the word itself a lot of thought, right? Okay, it's like they want peace, but what is peace to them? I mean, peace could sound like, peace. Peace means in oneness with each other, everybody allowed to be their own free individual at the risk of not infringing on another person's creativity or right to be who they are. But really, the stereotype is like, peace, which translation means, oh, I want peace, man. Translation, oh, I don't want to do a fucking, I don't want to do a fucking thing. Peace. Fuck,
Yeah, that's
I'm just a
the
deadbeat laying on the floor with my legs crossed and my arms going in a, cross folded with a headband on and a hookah
but
pipe, sitting in
I'm
a
hearing
circle. Yeah,
that's the media lie. That was the projection.
yeah,
That was the
oh yeah,
energetic stamp placed on that movement because when they did that at the time, the masses were like swallowing the crap that they put out whole,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
right,
so people thought, oh, that's what that energy is. That's what that means. And
yeah,
now, this is being brought up in this podcast because I mean, I offer, and I can only speak from where I live, just like
yeah,
you, that it is the focus in this now so that you in your internal world are not brought into chaos. And it's not a place of ignoring anything. You have awareness of everything. It's
hmm,
an intentional focus on what you need within you to ground you to be in your center. And what I offer is that your external world is a reflection of your internal world. So when
beautiful. Yeah,
you are walking and grounded in your center, I'm hearing pillar of light. You
yeah,
are a pillar of light for not just you, but for all that is, for humanity. And it sounds, if you're one of those that's walking around and you still haven't realized how profoundly powerful you are. You are. Every one of us is so powerful. And if you think about the shifts within you to come to the place of peace, every single soul, that's work. That's inner work. We've talked about it with
hmm,
every podcast. That's inner work to
hmm,
come
not,
to the
yeah,
place of peace, of acceptance. And I'm going to qualify this because I didn't do it last podcast and it kind of bugged me. When I say acceptance, people need to understand it has nothing to do with condoning, choosing, wanting, or anything. It's just this place where you see, you see what's happening. You don't have, I'm hearing personal attachment to it. You see it, you have awareness of it, you feel compassion for these things happening. You personally choose what your action is. However, I will say, whatever you choose, your internal state, you project out. And so if you are choosing the place of peace, then you're projecting out the place of peace. If you're choosing to battle within yourself, then you're battling external as well. That's the path where every soul is. All these internal battles are coming up. And ultimately, what souls will find I offer is those those battles within self, because ultimately to me that's self with self. They're made softer, they're made gentler, they're made easier. The pill is easier to swallow, is what I'm hearing. When you extend compassion and kindness to you, and that becomes a way of life within you, however you choose to express it and anchor it within yourself. And when you do that anchoring, which is those habits that begin to change your day-to-day, moment-to-moment existence, of the way that you used to just
yeah,
react to things, that you can consciously choose differently, the ultimate outcome of that I offer is peace. Is peace.
Isn't that the main goal? Isn't that the main goal? Really, that is the main goal. It's this internal thing that we're looking to settle within ourselves. And when we do that within ourselves, the more people do that, the more the collective will do that. I
Right?
think, and it spreads like wildfire.
Bit by bit by bit. I mean, and,
Yeah.
and like I told Larry when I was talking about this topic, and I was telling him what I kept getting is it's not this light, soft, fluffy energy. It is a calm energy, but it's really
Yeah.
profoundly powerful. It's
Absolutely. Absolutely.
profoundly powerful. Somewhere, if you go online, you're going to see when groups of people meditate, large groups of people meditate, how much that affects the earth.
Yeah,
Think about that. So
absolutely.
meditation, that's the place where you are still and you are as quiet as possible within self, which another way to say that is peaceful within self. And when one or more of us gather, that becomes this profound field.
Yes.
Yes. So the point of this podcast is it's peace. It's and then it just popped in my head the anagram, is that the right phrase, that my guides gave me years ago? Peace, perception of everything. Okay, hold on, let me write it down.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's like 5 letters there. I'm thinking, man,
Yeah,
yeah,
hold on.
acknowledge I'd have to write it down. Which Carolyn Lanier Roberts, happy birthday to Carolyn. Happy birthday to Carolyn. Yeah, she's a Leo like me. I'll be 50 August 1st. So we're like, I'm 8 days away from me. But Carolyn is 28 today, and she's enjoying her birthday in style. So yeah, we want to say happy birthday to the lovely Carolyn Lanier Roberts in San Antonio, Texas. Well, just outside of San Antonio. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
anyway, go. Yeah, anyway, enough with that shit. What about the peace word? Yeah.
I got it. I got it right here. Here it is. Here it is. Thank
So,
you. Okay. So, oh, that's right. All right. All right. I think it's in my blessing picks, but I think it's 2016 December. And I've told you this before, Larry, December 24th, 2016, my guides gave me peace, and they broke it down at 2 levels. And the first level was perception of everything as a compassionate experience. And
right.
so as we talk about a compassionate experience, to take an experience and to view it through compassion, that is when you have really started to integrate that inner work, and you have the ability to feel compassion for everybody, not just the people you like, but the people you don't like. Not just the actions that you think are okay, but the actions you don't think are okay. Not
Right.
just the people that you see as your enemies, the people that you see as your friends, the neighbors you don't like, that you think are creepy or whatever, the neighbors that you love. Compassion is an energy that goes to everybody. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
exclude anything. So
Right.
it's an aspect of peace, because it's about anchoring this energy of this acceptance and this stillness and this
Yeah.
inclusiveness of everybody. So they gave me this first level of peace on December 24th, 2016. December 25th, 2016, they gave me this next level, and I was kind of scared to even post it because it's a big deal. The next level was perception of experience as a Christed expectation. And when they gave me that, I was kind of scared, because 2016, I was kind of like, I can't say Christed. I can't. No, people
Yeah.
don't know what Christed is. I can't do that.
No,
People are going to
no,
attack me,
right,
and
right.
it's
I
like
hear you.
pitchforks and all that kind of stuff, right? But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got pushed within myself. It's like, no, you have to put it out there. People have to see it. It has to be seen. It's very significant. It's very important. And I was like, okay, all right. And it's that place where when you were really starting to do this inner work, you move into this place, and you have to move into this place where you begin to trust you. So you address the blockages to trusting you, and you begin to have faith in God, the divine, spirit, source, whatever. And to me, that's the same flow. One's one way, one's the other, but they're the same flow. So
Right.
when we talk about Christed is the energy of you embodying, I want to say your highest light, but I feel within me that kind of excludes. To me, it would be you embodying the highest light accessible to you in every moment. How's that? Does that work? Yes.
Yeah, it sounds great. Yeah.
So it's not any of this, and I'm hearing bugaboos. It's not any of this stuff that people, whatever you want to call it. It's about you walking on this earth in your own truth, and you like embodying that truth. And that truth, because here's the truth. This is going to sound funny. This is the truth of truth. It's not an exclusionary word or energy. You can have personal truths, and those can have conditions on them. But when you begin to move into reasons that make you tick, and what pulls you forward, and what makes you wake up, and what makes you happy, and what brings you joy, these are all energies that will ultimately align you with the divine within you, with God, with source.
Yeah.
Any other way you want to say it. These are all missions, journeys that bring you into this higher level of what can I do? Why am I here? What makes life matter? And at some point, every soul is going to come to this conversation within themselves about peace, because it's ultimately, it's like a gift you give yourself to not be pulled into these outer things. Not that they don't matter, but that when you're at the place where you begin to recognize that your personal divine truth of what you are matters, you honor that as much as you honor whatever this external thing is. And when you begin to walk in that place where you are honoring your own divine truth, and you embody that with every breath, then you begin to respect those that are walking that path already, and you begin to understand those that aren't there yet, because you wouldn't be where you were if you hadn't been at that other place.
Right.
And it makes sense, Larry?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's on my mind. I'm thinking about it. Yeah, right. It goes back to everybody being at a different spot in their evolutionary growth path, right? So, and it's about acceptance that other people might be at where you were, and other people might be a little bit ahead of you. So they're able to understand and grasp concepts that you're still working on trying to relate to, as far as that goes, right? And
Right.
it is really a matter of having that peace within without getting, and it's real easy to get caught up in these outward struggles, these internal other or outternal conflicts, you might say,
Yeah.
with other people, right? So, and
Right.
that there's nothing, I'll tell you, there's nothing that can disturb your peace quicker than something like that, getting pulled into some shit like that, right? And all of a sudden you're knee deep in it, and you're participating in it, and there goes your peace, right? And you quit worrying about what's going on inside of you so much, and you let all your focus become external. And yeah, that is what they would call, I don't know if there's a word for anti-peace. What would that be? Chaos, right? That's what descends
It's
quickly
chaos.
into chaos. Yeah, and quickly before you know it, you've descended quickly into chaos, right?
Yes.
I mean, I'm being a little dramatic, of course, but
And the chaos is your spinning thoughts, and the
yeah.
chaos is the place. And I would offer, for what I receive, it's a natural part of existence. Is there's chaos and there's order, and that the chaos is actually shit gets thrown off against the wall. It spins in every direction, and what really starts to matter to you, you hold even closer than the other stuff that's spinning out. And at some point, it reveals to you what really matters to you, because all the artificial spins out. It's like this, and the center begins to form more from the chaos, which is what's happening. Because what I was given is from chaos comes divine order. So it's like this spinning, and then it all gets
Mhm.
thrown out. And then the center, the core, which is which is, that it's your divine truth. It's what matters to you. It's what makes you tick. And I'm getting also that there's a pivot as well on that, because you have these souls that what matters to them, and they're in this dogmatic space, and they're protecting, and they're closed, and I respect that. I respect that. The only thing I'm going to say about the space where you're dogmatic about something is that you're protecting it. And in the place of protection, you're in fear of losing it. Because if you truly are holding on to it, I'm getting something about allowing now. The flow of everything is about allowing. It flows. And if it's something that is really significant, it's not going anywhere. Because what we are at our core. We don't have to hold on to dogmatic this and dogmatic that. And I respect that path, because at some point we all walk that path.
For sure. Yeah.
At some point you let go of that, because you begin to see that this thing you've been holding on to here and holding on to here is not what you are. It's part of what you are. It points to what you are. But what you are at your core is unchanged by any of that, and remains constant. And that's the beautiful thing that eventually you see, is that when you release this, you release those walls, you release those judgments, which ultimately block you from you. You begin to allow in, and I'm hearing this pun within me, allow in the light. I'm hearing you allow in the light. You allow in the elimination, and you begin to, it's like you open like a flower. You begin to see life differently, and you have awareness of these other choices because you used to make those. And you know that the life and the energy of the soul that's holding those choices is not in a happy place. And that the idea of the happiness and the idea of peace is not this far-fetched thing, because when those judgments come away and you begin to truly connect with what matters to you, that's your unique beauty, grace, and truth, yours, you begin to see that everything flows from there. And the peace that you are comes more present in your everyday, because you're like connecting with your center more and more, and it's no longer this concept that's out here. It becomes this, wow, this is what it means. Okay, I'm getting this more, and you get that because you're like, I'm seeing somebody move away crud off of it's the center. Does that make sense, Larry?
It's no longer at a distance from you. And then there's that first step, I would think, of realizing, okay, it is outside of me, right there. It is there. It's there. But then it's another thing too, when it becomes full of you, when it comes into your center and your being, what I mean? You understand when it comes within, that is that way with everything. I think in life is when you realize it, and then when you realize it fully with inside of yourself, right? You're full of feeling, right? So yeah, and I think it helps you to see too when you get to a position like that where, okay, you're at peace with that, and you can see other people might be still struggling, and they're in a spot where it's kind of dark, and you were there once, so there's no judgment. You're not acknowledging that they're in that spot out of a judgment per se. You're acknowledging it because you've been there before, right? It's more of it puts you in an empathetic instead of a sympathetic mindset when you're looking at it, right? Because you've been there, and even though that if they were to do things you might not necessarily think you would do, or that you disagree with, you understand why that could happen, that they would, and because you understand all the innate possibilities that come along with it, right? Because you're looking at it from a position of love and a position of concern, and not a position of, well, I would have never, or I always, when nobody really evers or always is. So
Position of judgment. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not really a spot of judgment. And you feel for people. Your heart really goes out to people that are still in that spot, right?
Right.
Yeah, especially like if they're in a position where those people, you can see that those people are in that second phase where they understand it, right? It's still outside of them, but they understand what it is and they're trying to get it within them. They're not completely at a point where, okay, they don't even realize it's outside of them at all. They just don't even know or have a concept or a clue, right? Or they're not willing to accept the fact that it is their period, much less even outside of them.
Yes.
So, it's kind of a twofold. I'm more apt to feel bad for somebody who's in that spot where they know that it exists, but they're trying to find it and they just can't seem to, versus not really realizing at all that it exists, period,
That it exists. Yeah. Yeah. That
Yeah.
it's from it's a crazy concept, and
Mhm.
how in the hell could it be? And all of these are spoken from souls that have not explored that within themselves, and I'm also getting have not even allowed that possibility to exist.
Yeah.
Um, they're in a place of protection and safety, and I'm not saying that that isn't um, relevant, because that does present in the physical world. But I'm also saying that we each live within our own personal realities, every soul, no matter where you are. And I'm thinking of Viktor Frankl right now in my head. And
Okay.
it's like that particular state that you hold within your body, within your heart, that's your own sovereign choice.
Mhm.
But it has to become that. When you're in that place, it's straddling is what I'm getting. When you're in that place where you feel like you have to be in safety, you have to be protected, you have to be, it's a choice. That's a choice. Can you be conscious in that place? Yes,
Yeah.
but you would be miserable in that place conscious, because you would know what you're missing very clearly.
Good
Um,
point.
yeah, and then the other thing I'm being
Mhm.
reminded of, like I said at the end of the last podcast, is about souls who open, and their minds are open and their crown is open, but their heart isn't. So they're
Mhm.
getting this enlightened information, but it's not being grounded through compassion, and it's
Yeah,
not
it's
being grounded
dangerous.
into, like,
Yeah.
I'm hearing togetherness even.
Yeah, that
It's
can be
this
dangerous, really dangerous and scary.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's really a scary thought and it's like that with some people, and it's really an interesting paradigm when they're at that.
it
The
really
con
is.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and
because
it's a
they
slippery slope.
that doesn't have to be, okay, I'm going to say this and I don't like saying this, and I'm not
Mhm.
saying this in
Go for it.
judgment, but I heard this very clearly. That
Mhm.
could be like a psychopath.
That's
A
what I'm kinda
person.
getting at, right? Somebody who's got that kind of tendencies, right?
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
very
yeah,
intelligent, they're very aware, they're
yeah.
very present, but they are not connected here. And what I
Mhm.
receive as a reawakener of the conversation of the heart is that the heart is it's the portal. It's a multi-dimensional portal,
Yep, good way to look
and
at it.
it's profound. It's not it connects you. What I receive is it connects you to all nows. It's not just here. It's your connection to the past, and it's your journeying into the future. It's
Yeah.
this, and I also have always received it that it's how the divine speaks through us. Not
Mhm.
that we aren't all divine, but it's like that voice, that connection. And then the other thing I've gotten slowly over time now is that, yes, there are other chakras and they're all part of it, but the
Oh,
connector
yeah,
between
endless.
all of them is the heart. The
Yeah,
that brings this in alignment and brings
right in
this
the
in
middle of that
alignment and
inner.
brings it into this higher flow, which for me, when I say that, that is automatically including compassion. That's automatically including acceptance. That's automatically including um, compassionate neutrality, non-attachment, whichever way you want to come at it. But these are all automatic when you move to that place where everybody's included, and you are aware. And here's what I'm getting, that how other people live their lives, provided it's a supportive thing. It's not something that's going to harm others or whatever.
Yeah,
It's not
right,
our
right.
it's not our business. It's not our,
Absolutely
you
not.
know.
Absolutely not. No, hell no.
Now, I will say the times we're in right now, what's being presented, I'm trying to think how to say this. What's being presented, it can seem undeniably true, and you decide that for your own reality. But
Yeah.
the other thing I'm getting within me very clearly now is, as you work on yourself and you do that inner work, your
Mm,
ability to move from the place of judgment, where you are essentially blind, to the
yeah.
place of discernment, which involves the heart, because that's part of the conversation of the heart, is discernment. Your discernment becomes razor sharp, and you can be able to tell much more
Yeah.
clearly,
Oh, yeah.
wow, that source that's telling me that in the past, I would have thought that they spoke the God spoken truth. Now I'm
Right.
realizing that they have their own agenda as well. And
Well,
you
yeah,
can begin to
absolutely.
see that even in those who are in the spiritual community, that
Big
exists as
time.
well. And that's the reason why,
Most
and I feel like
pervasive.
we bring this up every podcast. I guess this is part of the divine intent, is inner work is so significant.
Yeah.
And, this particular podcast is about peace. And peace is the place I offer that you begin to reach within yourself, of this place of being able to accept, being able to allow, being able to surrender. And when I say surrender, it's not a place of passivity. It's a place where you understand that everything you can do has been done, and that now it's up to the divine. It's up to timing. It's not up to you. And it's this place where you begin to integrate these choices of focus in addition to the doing, and it's this balance of it. Larry.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I go back to this too, the judgment thing. It's like when you will hear people that will judge other people, look at other people, and they will be like, "Well, I would have never, I would have always." But at the same time, like when you really have as least amount of judgment as a human can possibly have, it really allows you to judge. Even we know about 80% of the story, right? So like going into a situation, like you're going to know like 80% of the story right off the bat, and then the other 15-20% will work its way out when when you actually know, and then when you hear it, you will already know what you already knew, but you couldn't make that determination fully until you had all the facts, right? But it allows you, because you also understand where you were and where you've been. You understand all the innate possibilities of what somebody might have done, whether you agree with it or not in any given scenario. Okay, so
Right.
it kind of it puts you at that kind of peace where you already understand and know that. Whereas if you are the judgmental type or still stuck in the illusion that way, you will start to you will just make an assumption right away, and your thoughts will focus as to how could they, instead of why did they, or what was the
Right.
reason for it, or what was going on in their life. And not that it excuses it or anything, because I have to preface that any dipshit should get that part about it, not that it excuses it. um right, they should be able to get that. You understand the scenario, because we're all human, and there are different decisions we could make with different pressures put on us, different backgrounds we come from, and things of such.
Right. The the journey from moving from judgment. Oh, there's my Bubba's. My cat just passed through. The journey from moving from judgment into moving to discernment is, it's an eye opener.
Wow,
It's
isn't
a
it though?
massive
Good
shift.
point.
Yeah, it's the place where you're giving somebody else something else, your power.
Yeah.
You're aligning your personal truth and will with something else that isn't you, somebody else, something else, to
Yeah.
the place where you are, you're taking responsibility and you're seeing things very clearly, because you are at a place, in the place of discernment, where you are not judging self. You're seeing
Right.
things, you're not denying things, you have clarity on things, you accept things, and it doesn't mean you're perfect. I mean, You might make a
Not
choice
like
and
except for
slip,
me.
right?
Yeah,
It's
right.
part of life, but it's really, really empowering when you shift to discernment, because you're automatically including compassion for the other. And once you shift to that focus and to that level, is what I'm hearing, you see everything. You see your stuff,
Yeah.
you see their stuff, you see it all, and then you get to choose what your next choice is, what your next action is. um
Yeah, it's
yeah,
really a good place to come to because it really helps. And I mean, I think I've been out operating that way for so long, though, that I kind of just take for granted that other people might not be at that place yet, right?
right,
So I have a tendency to get a little bit irritated about it, that they're not
right,
there, that they would look at things like that. And I only do that because really
yeah,
it affects when they're that way, it affects being that way can affect other people in the collective, right? In a negative way. So that's my concern when people are still stuck in that mode. If they're out there, giving their thoughts on things, or if they have the ability to affect something with their words or with their actions, right, that could directly, in a very direct way, that could impact somebody else's life, then I have a little bit of an issue with it. But there's really not a lot you can do except for, kind of ride the storm out with it. And you can only control what you can control, right? And it's really a reminder, like for me, that you can only control what you can control.
yeah. I
Yeah.
was reminded of something a minute ago, and I'm
Yeah.
deciding how I want to present it, but it's kind of like, yeah, there's truth to it. And I've said it in other ways in other podcasts, but
Hmm.
basically, when you shift from judgment to discernment, I offer it's higher intelligence. Um,
Hmm.
because judgment cuts you off. And I've said this other podcast, but the analogy I've always gotten within me is that judgment, it's a filtering, and you only see that little bitty bit right there because you've got your belief systems and your thought patterns, and you're closing out everything that isn't
Hmm.
of your conditions, your
Hmm.
particular conditions, which is like
Hmm.
everything but that little bitty spot.
Yeah, yeah,
When
yeah,
you
right.
shift to discernment, which is
Yeah.
basically shifting from the mind to the heart, and when you take that massive leap, because that's, what is it, yogis say something about that little short trip right here, couple inches, is just profound. When you shift to compassion, and you shift to the heart, and you shift to seeing things through those eyes, you shift to discernment, which is another filtering. It's a judging of the heart, but it's a different type of judging. Judgment in the mind excludes everything that isn't of your belief systems or your thought patterns. It's a box, self-imposed box. When you shift to discernment, which is that's about compassion, that's about
Yeah.
the heart,
Yep.
and you shift to that, you you basically include, or you could say you exclude, everything that isn't of love, everything that isn't of openness, everything that isn't of inclusiveness, everything that isn't of acceptance of all. And I'm getting within me all,
Yeah.
all, all expressions, all everything, even things that you're kind of like within you, you're kind of cringe and you're like, ooh, but it's still about free expression, and it's still about free will, even if it's cringeworthy is what I'm hearing. And
Hmm.
when you shift to that, you see everything that is of love, everything, which is not this little thing here. It's
Hmm.
everything. To me, I offer
Right.
you see everything. You see
Yep.
everything, even those things you may not want to see, and you're like, oh, but you see them.
Yeah.
You see them, and you
Yeah.
can see them and view them because you're not holding judgment. So you're not putting on blinders on things. You're seeing it, and you're seeing it through compassion, which allows you to see the motives, to see the choices, to see the intentions behind whatever it is. And
Yeah.
that gives you profound sight And that's the discernment. And that's the point. And we're talking about this because these are all steps to the place where you begin to anchor peace in the body, because you're going through these processes, and the outcome of that is that you begin to accept self more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you can accept others more. Again, I'm going to reiterate this because for some reason I feel in my gut that I need to reiterate it.
Mm-hmm.
Acceptance has nothing to do with wanting or desiring whatever that is in any way. In any way, you
Yeah.
might find it disgusting, you might find it horrible, you might find it whatever else, but you're looking at it, you're seeing it, it's there and it exists. Okay, that
Mm-hmm.
exists, that's there. And once you look at it and you're like, okay, that exists, that's there, that's called acceptance. Then you can see around it, then you can see through it, then you can see other choices and other options, is what I'm getting. And that's an aspect of peace, is
Right.
acceptance, Larry.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you get to that level, it really is. It's just that love is not something that's just instantaneous and a feeling, a feel good. It encompasses everything, right? And that
Yep.
means when you're in a bad mood, when you're in a good mood, whatever kind of mood it may be that you're in, whatever emotion you're feeling at the time, right? It's still part of everything of all that is. It's not just based solely on how you're feeling in one moment, right? It's not a this
Right.
peace, but I feel it's such a peace right now. I feel it's such a peace with everything. And,
It's not fleeting.
yeah, yeah, it's not just everything's going great. Maybe for you, everything's going great at the moment, everything's going fine, but you're at peace with it because you're just maybe there's something you don't have to deal with anymore, right? That's still left unresolved. But I think there's a difference in the feeling, I would think, of just that you just are sick of something and don't want to deal with it anymore and you've gotten away from it, which a lot of times is a good idea to do. But
Right.
there's that. And I think a true inner peace within is not something that you sit there and go, wow, this is so neat all the time. It's just kind of a state. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I'm
Right.
finally at peace with everything. It's not some fleeting moment like that. It's really just kind of a state. Yeah, yeah, right, no shit. Yeah, it's just kind of a state of being
Right.
that you are in at that point, right? It's not
Right.
something that, oh my God, I'm such at peace with it now. I'm no, fuck, shut up. No, you're not. You're telling yourself that. You know what I mean?
Thank you. Yes. Right.
You know what I mean? Get the fuck out of here with that. Yeah, right. I'm such at peace with it all now. Well, you know what? If you really were, you wouldn't have told me about it.
Right.
I
Yeah.
specifically asked that pointedly. Are you at
Yes.
peace with it now? Right. Then you might say yes if you really were. You wouldn't be like, oh. Oh, sweet spirits, they have guided me to feel peaceful. So I am peaceful, even though shit sucks, right? I mean, so yeah, it's really just kind of a feeling. It's not really anything you can put into words to describe to people, like if the difference of being in that kind of a mentality versus, oh, I'm just avoiding shit and, so fuck it, I didn't want to deal with it, but I'm at peace with it now.
Right. It's
Yeah, I
completely
sure are.
different. That's like the three I offer. That's like the 3D interpretation of what peace looks like
Right.
from there.
Yeah,
It's it's
that's a good point.
yeah, what I'm getting is it's a
Yeah.
just like I said in the beginning of the podcast, it's not a passive thing. It really
Right.
has
No,
nothing to
not at
do with
all.
passivity at all.
Uh-uh.
It's a
Zero.
profound strength. It's a dogged focus without,
Hmm.
I'm getting it's exerting will, but it's not about the effort. It's just about allowing what already exists. It's already present. There's already
Hmm.
peace present, like all the time. It's there all the time. And you feel it when you begin to allow yourself to meditate. And I've said this in other podcasts. For me, meditation isn't necessarily just this. And I
Hmm.
respect the yogis and all of that. To me, meditation is a pause and thoughts. You walk outside, you walk down on your steps, maybe it just rained, you look up and there's water and it's reflecting off the trees,
Yeah.
off the leaves on the tree in front of you, and it's so stunning. Your jaw drops and it's breathtaking. You're lost and immersed in that moment. You're still. That's meditation. You
Yeah.
walk outside your door in the morning, you get into your car. What am I thinking right now? I'm thinking
Yeah.
of things
A bird
okay, this
flies
is like
by.
my life. My babe has driven my car and he left a Coke and it's still cold. This is me.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm in a Zen place right there. Right?
You're gonna drink
You
the
know,
Coke. You're gonna drink his Coke for
I'm
it.
gonna drink the Coke. Yeah, you better
Yeah.
believe it. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sitting in my office and the neighborhood cat goes
hmm
by and it's just so cute to watch and I'm lost watching that cat. That's meditation, you know. I'm sitting in the sun and I'm enjoying the rays of the sun and I'm just immersed in that moment. It's any place you become immersed, and you become immersed from a place that is brings you to a place of like joy and inner contentment, and
hmm
it's like this inner conversation. And you can get it. I'm seeing examples of somebody, you're holding a crystal. You might
Yeah.
be in a noisy room, you're holding a crystal, you're
Right.
lost in the conversation with the energy that is the crystal. It's any place where you immerse, you're washing your dishes
You're
and you're
spacing out.
washing
You're
them,
just spacing out and relaxing. You're
you're
spacing out right here. Yeah.
spacing out and you're
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
so, you're zen, you're in a
hmm
zen place, and your focus is fully internal. And you could have people screaming around you, you know, husbands yelling at you, neighbors are yelling, whatever.
hmm
You can still be in a zen place. It's an internal, it's an internal event is what I'm hearing. It's like this, it's constant, it's constantly there, it's constantly present, and it's just the place that you tune in.
hmm
And it's always there. And the more that for myself, I've learned that I can shift there on a dime now. I can be there. I can have
Well,
an
lucky you.
argument.
Look at you.
I can have an argument with my love, and you know, it sucks, and I'm hurt for
Yeah.
a minute, and then I understand the root of the argument, and that I can't do anything about it. I'm doing my best, you know, and then I just move into peace. You know,
I
it's
mean, even if you would have taken a big drink of that Coke and there would have been a cigarette, the ashes in there that, that you, I forgot to tell you, honey, I
could
used
have
it for a
been.
cigarette. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right. Now
No, he
that would
doesn't
be,
do that with folks. He
uh,
no, he doesn't do that with
yeah.
Cokes.
Well, good for him. Well, then, yeah, but yeah, that might take a little bit more, a little bit more zen, but
A
right,
little
and
more
it,
Zen.
but it's like with channeling too, right? You don't have to sit there. You don't have to really be in a mode with your eyes crossing, darting back and forth, going, oh, and
Nope.
to have it happen. You're constantly, like Mark Twain talked about, like Eric von Doniken's talked about. When you're channeling, it's just your higher thoughts coming through to you, right? And the
Yeah,
same
there's a
thing, right? With
yeah,
being in
you're
that Zen mode, with being at peace with yourself. Okay, so now you talked about being in
yeah,
that mode with other people around you, whether somebody, the world's falling apart around you, right? You can be, but then sometimes too, there's nothing to fuck it up quicker than that shit all going around you too, on around you. But at the same time, but it's about adjusting to that at that point when that throws you
right.
off. Understanding that this is just what it is, right? It's these people aren't necessarily doing it to get on your nerves or get on your case, or maybe they are. Sometimes they are, but
That could be
but
too, yeah.
that could be too. But it isn't. You can get into that mode where you're 24/7 doing it awake and in a mode, or when you're awake consciously and not sleeping, you're constantly in that mode, right? Of peace as much as you
Yeah,
possibly can be. I mean, granted, there's shit that can happen externally that can stop it for the moment. Tragedy in the family, something emergency wise is going on. Somebody's trying to break into your house with a machine gun. Something like that, right? But on a regular, just day to day, mundane basis, you're in that state of being. You know,
yeah. I keep getting within me. It's about non-attachment. That
yeah.
you are not attached to the outcome of, because I mean,
Good point.
you had an had an argument with your spouse, and like I was saying, you understand that the root of it is not something that you have any control over. And that's the place where you've done the work, and you know that you can't do anything about that. Okay, all right, I just got to surrender that. Then you can like release it and be like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm good. And you move into peace, because it's a place of like, you understand that you're not responsible for another. You do what you can, but you cannot, like I've said before in other podcasts, you cannot create for another. You can't think for another. You can't make them do things. They have to do that. It has to come through them, from them, because they're the ones in their own experience. You aren't. And
well, considering being you and that you're never wrong, it's a lot easier of a position to be in, when you're in a relationship. I mean, you've never been the root of the argument, so it's
no, I have
it's
so.
really,
Yes, I have.
yeah,
Yes, I have. I'm not perfect. Yes, I have, most definitely. Yes, and then that hurts, right? Because you don't.
that's
It's not.
I get
I mean, I would love to say you're in peace all the time. No, you're walking on this earth. So, my experience with it is that my journey has been one where I wasn't in peace most of the time, and then I would find it in these pockets, and then I was like, "Oh, this is so awesome!" And then I'd be torn into something else, crying and losing my shit, and and it's taken me now, because it's been years, where I'm hearing within me, I've gotten very, very strong, very, very aligned within myself. And I mean, the journey is about, you learn who you are and who you aren't. And the more that you are become more and more crystal clear on that, I am this, I am not that. The stronger you get, the more you get, the more aligned you get, the easier it is to be like, I respect you and I love you and I honor you, but that's not my responsibility. Not period, I respect you, I love you, I honor you, and I understand that this is bugging you, and I respect that. That probably would bug most people, but I know that this is not something that I can do anything about, and that this is going to happen right now. And I send love, I send compassion. I think it's awful, I think it's horrible, but I know that I know that my ability to hold peace and to be this energy and this beacon in this space is far more profound than my getting pissed off and losing my center and giving my power and my energy, I'm hearing very strongly, my will, to this other thing, which then allows me to be a puppet of it, like a string, like an invisible string that I get pulled on every time this thing happens. And when I know that when I'm in this place of peace, which again isn't a passive place, it's a determined focus of, I'm hearing stillness, of non-attachment. I know when I'm in this place, and I give this to myself, because you could say peace is a form of self-love for damn sure, that this thing happening, this is horrible, this is despicable, I don't like this, I don't blah 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 blah. You do what you need to do, absolutely, that's your own personal choice, but understand that the whole point is for you not to be a puppet where this thing happens and you react on this string because you're this puppet of this external thing. No fucking way. You're a sovereign being. The whole point is for you to make conscious choice. Sorry, Larry, go on.
Well, certainly, hon. There's nothing that can make a person respond, or there's nothing like a love tiff or a little argument to make people act reasonable, right? Or but right, and I've seen in situations. This mostly happens in like, hold on, I'm messing something with TikTok here. This it happens a lot of the times in relationships that are romantic centered relationships where, okay, so you get mad, you get pissed off, and you're arguing back and forth, and then things should have quelled by then, but what ends up happening is that one of the two parties is pissed off at them. They know they did wrong, they've acknowledged it, but then they're still pissed off. They're pissed off at themselves, so they're still pissed off and continuing on the row, right?
They're projecting it.
Yeah, right, and it's in. They realize it. How I would know they realize it, I have no idea. I've never. No, and I'm not speaking from personal experience. Ha ha ha. Maybe not. I don't know. But
Yeah.
they keep on going on about it, right? And yes, that's been me a few times. Unfortunately, it seems like I've been on the receiving end of it more than I've given it out. But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've been there too. I've been like hurt and pissed off, and like know that okay, we get it, we talked about it. They've addressed it already, my concerns, but I still feel the need to want to like fucking harp at it and go on about it or
Right.
whatever. Or they might to me. Mostly, it's been towards me, but still, nevertheless, I've got to experience that wonderful thing in life on both sides. For as fortunate as I am, I'm the lucky one. I know.
So you're
Um,
saying
y-
it sticks in you. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, right. It sticks in you when you're having an argument, especially with somebody you're really intensely into it with, like a partner,
Yeah.
right? Like you're into an intense relationship with. It ain't like really having one with a kid or like your folks. I mean, those are kind of just a fuck you and done
Yeah.
kind of thing, right? But when it's with somebody that you have like an attachment with, like in a romantic way or something, you feel this need to want to keep going on about something sometimes. And it could have just been the drama freaks that I've been with in my life, right? And that okay, so I got baited into that, so that's how I was acting in return, right? When I was pissed and I'm like, okay,
Right.
yeah. Can't you admit, get on you for you forgot a gallon of milk 2 years ago on the way home from somewhere, right? You forgot to get one at the store when you were asked to, but then I get
Projection.
in that mode, right, and then I get in that mode and I'm like, well, god damn it, can't you just admit one time you forgot to lock the goddamn door to the house when we left, or something? It just
Bingo.
yeah, can't you just admit it? And and the funny thing is they can't, won't. But the thing is why am I wasting energy and time on it to badger about it? You know what I mean?
Because it's a battle of wills, and you have
Yeah,
to
what a
you have
fool.
to lay it down. You have to let it go and not give any more fuel to the fire. And
Right.
if it's something that's worth it, then it's going to fire up even without you giving it fire. And if it's not, then it's going to die. And then you'll be able to talk once you stop fueling it with your, I'm seeing somebody, antagonistic reverberation. Yeah. You stop fueling it with your own frustration and your own personal small will, which is the ego. And, you
What'd
know,
you just call it? Antagonistic
no,
reverberations? Is that what you called it?
I'm looking at the comment down here. Andrew, what is it?
Oh, I like
Osiris
it. Beautiful brother, Andrew.
antagonistic.
Yeah, that Andrew
There you
Osiris. Hey,
go. Yeah,
Jolly Al said hi earlier. Hi, Jolly Al and Andrew Osiris. Yeah, that's a brilliant term, man. I like it.
it
Yeah,
is. I mean, it's
yeah,
just like, because that's
yeah.
why that stuff
Totally.
sticks out to you in a intimate
Yeah,
relationship, right? Because
right.
I offer, because it's your
Andrew must
own,
have been
it's
Andrew must
it,
have been there a time or two.
because it's your own shit and you don't want to deal with it, or you can see them that they're spewing out their stuff, and I'm not, each one of us have our own shit. They're spewing out their stuff and you
Yeah.
see it clear as day, and you know they see it, but they don't want to deal with it, and that pisses
Yeah,
you off. But then when it
I know,
pisses you
and
off,
and you wonder. I've been in that situation, and I wonder if they realize, like, okay, all they would have to do, because this is me, this is the way I look at it. All they would have to do is cop to it. Say, yes, fuck, fine. I
yeah,
left the goddamn toilet seat up 2 years ago once.
and that diffuses it
Okay,
immediately. But to understand,
but I'll still go right. But if they don't do that, but I could quit at any time myself. So see, it's a matter of I have the choice over my. Yeah, right. I
is it
could I
worth
could
it,
just
right?
fucking
Yeah, and
right. You got to weigh that shit too. Right. It's a
and
weird.
then we talk about it every podcast. We got all these other energies. What do we
Yeah.
K something with solar? What is it? Solar winds, K something solar winds, and all these other external energies, which aren't even
Mhm.
people. That are like pushing.
Yeah.
So it's easy to get triggered, and it's like it requires yeah, it's the truth. I'm getting it. It requires mastery for every soul to begin to anchor in this stuff, because we're getting thrown out so much stuff, and it's kind of like, we're all in boot camp at the same time right now.
Yeah,
you know
big time.
Big time. Yeah,
Yeah, we don't even
we
know
got
really.
this and
That's
this and
pretty,
this off the charts. I'm talking about people holding peace within them, and people are, how the
not with
fuck
a
do you do
sign.
that?
You're not
Well,
talking about holding a sign outside saying peace on it, and with a big sign
no,
or
I'm not.
someone going through it. Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah,
And what I offer, because we said at the beginning of it, right, is, I mean, ultimately for all of us, it's about, you know, world peace, peace for the world, peace for our world, peace on the world. But
of course.
for whatever
Isn't
divine
about
reason, like my focus is about every soul gifting themselves
yeah.
peace
Well,
for
that'll
themselves.
have to happen before, right? What you're just saying there, that'll have to happen before this peace that we're talking about on this external
Right.
plateau plane happens, right? So, I mean, first of all, first things first, right? I mean, what you're saying has to come to fruition on a collective mass scale before this other shit will take place necessarily. Yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be, because
Oh, when I
peace
said
is the
mass, the
expression of
word mass
love.
is yeah. It
It
doesn't
doesn't
have to
have
be.
to be that many, right? From what I understand and
Yeah,
understand, we're already at that tipping point, right? It just
right,
has to be enough souls holding that frequency, which has been reached.
right.
And now it's just, it's just increasing, and I'm getting infectious.
Yeah.
Peace is becoming an infectious
It can spiral
focus.
off enough people, each individual person that gets it. It can spiral off enough people. It doesn't have to be this big fucking undertaking where we got to go door to
Uh-uh,
door on an African jungle or a big city street to let or
uh-uh.
both and let everybody know.
It's a
Yeah.
gift. It's like a beautiful gift that every soul can give themselves, and I would like to say will give themselves, but that's an assumption on my part. Can give
Yeah.
themselves and is available to them, frankly, in any moment, even if they are still up in judgment, because it's a
Right.
place. Because at some point the progression happens. At some point, I'm hearing this,
Hmm.
and I'm not saying this in judgment. This is what I'm hearing. The light
Yeah.
bulb comes on. At
Yeah.
some point, the light starts to shine. At some point, something different is
And it's
sought,
really
because what
amazing
was
to see
happening
that. Yeah.
before doesn't work anymore, you know? Yeah,
Yeah.
right, Larry. And it's truly
When you
amazing, you know?
Yeah, when you see somebody go through that, right, it's amazing. But then again, too, it doesn't happen a lot, so that might be why it's amazing too to me. Like when I see shit that don't happen a lot, I'm like really taken back by it. Like really, I take it in because it's not something you see every day. I mean, I'll tell you this much, Carolyn. I know this much. I would like to see a little bit more of it personally up close, but the all in due time, right? All in due time, yeah. But I'd like about 50,000 other more cases to walk
It
through,
comes,
my door
it
like
comes.
that. But
Because
we're
you know,
getting there.
I've said it in other podcasts, and I mean, I'll
Yeah.
say it now. It's like, you know, our journey is from this suffering, and from so much suffering. You know, you get tired of the suffering. Oh my God, life's got to be more than just this suffering shit. And
Yeah, we weren't
like,
meant to be that way. It's crazy.
what is
Yeah.
it? What is this thing that isn't suffering? What is this thing that isn't fear? And you begin to seek, what is that? What is that other thing? And that's how it begins to shift. Is you're like, okay, where I'd normally be pissed off right now, where I'd normally be scared as shit right now, where I'd normally be sad, you know, I
Mhm.
want something different for myself, and I don't know what that is. And you're seeking something that is, I'm hearing sustainable, and
Yeah, the thing,
it's
right. It's not just a fleet of the moment. It's not just a
not a
one hit
flee of the moment.
wonder.
It's not a pill. It's not a,
One hit
and you want to
wonder.
do it, and you want to be able to do it again and again, and you
Mhm.
don't want to be dependent on anybody. It's your,
Mhm.
okay, how
Especially
can
skills to
I
make it
take
happen. I went
responsibility
down
for
that
this?
road. Yeah,
What's that,
right.
Larry?
Yeah, you don't want to be dependent on anything. I said, especially a pill to make it happen because I've
You
tried
don't want a
that.
pill. You want,
Yeah,
how can I change this? I
yeah,
don't want to be dependent on anybody. This is my responsibility. This is, how can I make this happen? How can,
yeah.
without judging self, and just, but being like, yeah, we're done with this shit. Yeah, we're not gonna, okay, all right, okay, what else can we do? And that's where it starts, someplace. So yeah, Larry, it happens to me. It is happening. Yes. I mean, this podcast exists. Other podcasts exist that are, there's other podcasts that are conscious conversations. They exist. I think there's like 30, you know?
Is
Um,
it really? Wow.
yeah, look it up.
God, when you told me that, the name, what a good name would be, I thought, man, this is the only one out there that could
I
possibly
did
name it.
too, and
No,
I
I
think
didn't think,
Experience did
I
that.
didn't think that. I was cool with it. I didn't, believe me, I figured there'd be something really wrong if there wasn't a bunch of others that are named. It's such a simple, off the tongue name
It's
that,
okay. I'm
yeah,
grateful.
it's cool.
This
Yeah,
this
yeah,
energy
I
that you and I
kind of
breathe
figured it
through
right.
is unique for us. And
Right, absolutely.
there's other conversations happening that are unique
That
for
are
others.
conscious.
And
Yeah, that are super
everybody
conscious.
is going to be reached, ideally.
Right. Yes, it's great as Carolyn and I are. I'm willing to admit there are probably other conversations going on there that might even be of a more conscious nature. But especially throwing me into the mix. But yeah, it really is a wild concept, right? And it's infectious. But one wise man once said the 1,000,000-mile march started with one step. Now that's a little ominous to think about that it would take that long. But hey, it does. It takes, but it's a reflection of you can do what you can do within you,
Yep.
right? And then once you're complete or as close to complete as you can get, that can spiral to other people. So even if those people are having fleeting moments of feeling that way, at least it's better than none at all, right? And so but it is it's easy to mistake somebody in that mode at the time as being something that's sustainable, that has sustenance to it, versus it being just a one-hit wonder, and acknowledging and being at peace with the fact that okay, it's just this one time that Uncle Fred's showing a little bit of a logic, right? It doesn't mean he's had this big fucking epiphany and all of a sudden the clouds opened up and balloons started dropping from the sky, and all of a sudden his life had changed, and all the shit, and everything was new and different, and he waxed the car twice a week now instead of once. He did the grocery shopping once a month, where he would have done it like and never, twice a year, I mean, instead of ever. It doesn't it is, you have to take it for what it is.
I was reminded within myself just now when you were talking about that. I thought about the Cryon quote, years ago or something about any choices that shift to the light at all are so supported. And I mean, we're talking about now, that quote would have been, 10 years old?
Probably I've been
No,
listening for quite a while, about that long.
probably
So
more like 20 years old. Yeah. I mean, and that was, we weren't where we even are now. And so, because I was getting this thing when you were talking about it, that any of those choices, any of those shifts are like major events energetically for every soul. And they are not like, I'm seeing something like they're not this little bitty light in this vacuum of darkness. They're actually a really bright spark that is supported from the moment it's chosen. And it begins an energetic shift as long as it's supported, no matter the degree of that, no matter the degree. The person has this thought and they do this thing that's a really beautiful thing for themselves. It supports them and moves them forward in some way that is very empowering. And then they decide, well, they're going to do this thing, and it's not even a big thing. It's a small, minor thing for themselves. And then they decide to make that small, minor thing a habit for themselves every day that supports them in this new way. And it starts to change everything in their world because it's a shift internal when they do that. From the moment they make that choice and then they choose to add on to that choice, they choose to make it a habit. Minor, it could be anything minor, and it's empowering. And then it's just like they just stick with it and they're like, okay, yeah, okay, okay. And they give themselves that strength, and they give themselves that support, and it builds rapidly and shifts them rapidly. And that's actually what I'm receiving is happening for every soul that makes that choice, any degree, any amount. Huge. So supported.
You know what I was thinking while you were talking about that? I was thinking about like learning to trust ourselves and our higher self. And I was listening to Daryl Bashar, the guy Daryl Anka channels.
For sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I just real quick, I'm more of a Cryon dude myself. I've always considered his stuff mainly for people that were in junior high with this kind of stuff. But he seems to be getting more evolved as he gets older. Daryl does with it. But he was talking about how somebody had asked him about, does your higher self, is it always with you, and does it always give you the right kind of guidance? Does it always give you the right perfect kind of guidance? And he said, yeah. Bashar said, yes, it does. But the thing is, it's about listening to it, right? I mean, I look back at all the bad situations I've been in my life, and my guides still yet have bailed me out of a ton of them. but I look at it like there was always something there, of course, and we know this. I'm not telling anybody some big fucking epiphany. Everybody could probably figure they already long since knew this. But there were always signs there that if you would have listened to them a little bit, and you know what I
Right.
mean, and whatever situation or path you went down, and how many times during your way to that path, right, on your way at that time, were there warning signs you ignored, right,
Right.
constantly. It doesn't mean, and even if you get into it a little bit and then you kind of from, that's you listened and you got out of it, right? It doesn't really
Right.
matter at that point what phase you did of it, but it's always trying to guide you towards, because it sees everything from a complete overview and overall into the future, into other realities view, right? And so but there's a free will thing too, right? Spirit doesn't like to completely, ultimately, at the end of the day, even your higher self fuck with your free
Yeah.
will. So there's that, right? And so it really there's signs everywhere, like, I won't get dramatic and say there, do not enter, like you're going down the wrong way over, on a goddamn
No, they're big.
interstate. Yeah.
You get them. Yeah. I mean, when
Yeah.
I was younger, and I haven't made choices like others have made because they've always been talking to me. I just ignored them
Mhm.
for a time in my life. But
Mhm.
yeah, there was a time when I would hear them telling me things and I would say, fuck you, I'm still gonna do this.
Yeah,
you
right,
know,
right, right.
and I would do whatever I was doing because for me it's always been a reaction to this inner guiding that I've always had. It's there was a point when I
Yeah.
was younger, I'd be like, no, I know I'm supposed to do this, so I'm gonna go do this.
Mhm.
And
Rebellious, yeah.
that's part of living on earth to me, and but yeah, to me everybody gets it. But I will say, and I brought this up in one of those early podcasts, um when I had an entity attached to me. And remember I told you about that, the entity, Malcolm. And
In the middle.
malcolm
Yeah.
Malcolm used to, I would hear it, these thoughts about doing, doing this thing, and it was doing something, and it was different but from like higher self guidance, because higher self guidance is always supportive, and it's supportive of you and supportive of others, and it's just this uplifting thing overall. But
Right.
Malcolm would suggest me to do things that like push the limit
Mhm.
and made me this higher appearance, this other higher version of me, and fuck it to anybody else. And it was always fuck it to anybody else. Nobody
Yeah.
else matters. It's just you. Yes, you could look this way. Yes, you could. And it was
Oh, yeah.
always guidance like that, right? And at the
Right.
time, I was not seeing that difference. I
Mhm.
finally started to see the difference, and we're going back, oh my God, 10 years? Well
Yeah.
over 10 years. And I feel grateful now that I did have that entity attached to me at one point, because I began to see over time. I'm like, whoa, when he was gone, or that energy was gone or whatever, I was like, whoa, yeah, day and night between higher self guidance and this entity guidance, because
Big
like I
time,
said,
yeah. Divine,
yeah,
yeah, man. They're not perfect either, right? Right. You could have star beings that have also their own agenda, and they'll tell you too, they're still figuring it out, right? Versus
right,
that divine that comes from a higher self, right? The higher self is only after your best interest. I mean, or
your best
I should say
interest.
after, out
And
for.
and
Yeah.
the support of others around you. It's a choice that whatever it is, it supports you and those around you. It's not excluding them. It's not judging
Right.
them, but
Good
it's
point.
giving
That's a good,
you
great point. That's a great
like
point.
clarity.
Right. It has to be, it's not a matter of, okay, well, fuck everybody else around you, like
Yeah,
to a point. Right. I mean, to a point, it can be, but only in the sense of when that other person's really dragging you down. Right. But
yeah.
it isn't like their attitude. It isn't like that divine's attitude is fuck that other person. It's just like, hey, you got to do it. Yeah. Right.
Fuck
Right.
that
Well,
other person. Yeah, no, it's not
yeah.
like that.
No, it's not quite like that. Where some entity, it might be
No,
like, sometimes it might even be justified, but it comes down to what is the best for the collective and what's best for
right,
you, though, and going down that road, right? It's not a
for sure.
complete, without complete disregard to anybody around you, right?
No, it's very. very well thought out
Yeah.
suggestions, you know, if you take them
Very.
or not.
Yeah, very well. That's, yeah, underline that. Right, exactly.
Very well thought out, where you're just kind of like, I mean, it doesn't mean you have to do it. Your free will. You could be like, nope,
Yeah.
you're telling me go this way and I'm gonna go that way. But at some
Well,
point,
know,
at some point, you figure out when you go that way, why that may not be the best way. But
yeah,
while you're going that way, you're enjoying it for a time. And then you're like, oh, it might have been a lot easier had I gone that way, but I would still have to go do
yeah,
this, be this, you know, do this inner work, do this thing that I want to avoid within myself. I don't want to have to do this thing because to present this way
right.
or to say this thing or whatever means that I'm going to have to address this thing within me that
Yeah, yep. God, yeah, there's the elephant in the room. Right,
that I don't want to even admit
right.
exists or
Yep.
happen, or that I'm thinking, or that I did, or, you know, wow, no, 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 no. That's why I'm going to go over here. Because as long as I go over here, I can ignore, deny that that I did this, that this thing happened, that I thought this, that things went that way, you know, that experience happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, rather
Well,
than
that's why the divine is
yeah,
divine on the level, because if they weren't any less divine, they would say, well, no shit.
no
So what,
shit.
as far as like, I mean, to basically what you're saying there, right? They'd be like, yeah, well, duh. But yeah, it's like that though, you know?
Yeah, no shit. That would be the one. That'd be somebody puts
Yeah.
that on Instagram, then they're talking to their higher self response and says, well, no shit.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, no shit, right? Yeah,
That'd be
exactly.
the one.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
So
yeah.
yeah. So I mean, back to peace. I mean, my main thing to convey on this is um in not in any way do I receive that it's this light, fluffy, submissive, weak um energy of ignoring or denying what is present at all. It's an energy of accepting, and again, I redefined that twice in this podcast, accepting what is present, accepting what's happening. um
Hmm.
and you are determined to see all around. You are aligned in a compassionate focus within yourself, and you want what's best everybody, for
Hmm.
everybody,
Hmm.
including nobody. And yeah, I'm hearing within me you hold a higher vision. And
That concept comes so easy to me. It's hard for me to imagine that people have trouble with it, but they do, is wanting what's good for best for everybody. People have, I say that and I sound like, oh, I just want what's best for you, young man, or, oh yeah, hidden agenda. I just want what's best for you. But
yeah, I hear that one.
really,
I feel that too.
it's all right. But it's always how I've kind of felt. I just want people to like flow with each other. Maybe that's all the LSD I took. And ladies and gentlemen, it's been 30 years since I've had any, so it's been a while. But maybe that's everybody should just be peaceful and, well, there you go. But I mean, go along with each other, not go along with each other, but be within yourself, but at the same time be conscious of others. And if others are
Yeah,
like that, hey, we're all going to get along fine. But it's such a
right.
hard thing for a lot of people to grasp and to really come up with. I don't know why. I mean, first time you'll ever hear me bring up Megadeth on here. My cousin was a big metal fan. Now, banging on trash cans like they do to sing is not really my thing, but they had a quote in a song called Peace Sells, but who's buying? It's a really an interesting thought, right?
Right.
Peace sells, but
Yeah.
the marketing, it's great for marketing, but who's really buying it, right? It's great for the marketing for T-shirts that have a sign on it, or that say on it, peace somewhere, peace in the Middle East, peace in, South Africa, peace in wherever the fuck it could ever be, right? But it sells, but really, who's fully embodying that and buying it? You know?
Yeah, I'm getting something right now. We've been brought up it was brought up in the 3D in the Piscean age. I'm piecing together what I'm getting, but it's like because that age, the age we are leaving, is fully about duality. Duality is about contrast, and this divisiveness, this division, this separation was fueled. Who fueled it? I'll let people go into that direction if they want, but it was fueled. It was fueled. We got to explore, like at one level, I always receive that when we experience, God experiences. So at one level, God, the divine, took in all these experiences of duality. They were all filling in all that is, right? And they were explored, but this duality, this dark and light, whatever, it creates contrast. Division creates separation. Separation perpetuates, feeds and perpetuates judgment. And so you have these beliefs and these things that you project onto this person, this group, and you have these beliefs and things that you project onto this group. And as you get more dogmatic in your place and they get more dogmatic in their place, and then they're boom, 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 right? So that's violence, and so that perpetuates and that feeds and that sustains a system that is like, I'm hearing like adrenaline junkie. You want the violence, you're used to the other shoe dropping because there's always got to be this. And so you have this adrenaline junkie thing, which is where you're talking about peace is boring, peace is whatever. It doesn't have that adrenaline junkie stuff. It's about acceptance. And so it's a shift of the paradigm from the 3D to the 5D, from the Piscean age to the Aquarian age, and that shifting from needing that adrenaline junkie stuff, the divisiveness and the separation, into the place where you are accepting, where you are allowing, where you are, I'm hearing there's no walls, and you don't need this. And it doesn't mean that this doesn't come, it doesn't have to come as harsh. This can come from joy, this can come from wonder, this can come from amazement, this can come from sheer gratitude, dropping on the ground, eyes crying, tears, feeling wells of pure joy and elation through you because of something, even something minor that happens that just overtakes your whole being. Something incredible in your experience. Maybe you see the most beautiful butterfly you've ever seen in your life, and it's so beautiful that the beauty stuns you. It's not a painful experience. It's not one of these that has to jolt you into a place of defensiveness and fear, right? It takes you to a place of love and gratitude and appreciation. Children are playing outside your window across the street, and one's being kind to the other, or the parents are playing with them. And it takes you to a place where, yes, you do get a jolt of energy, of light, of life, but it's not from fear. It's not from, I'm hearing even segregation right now in my head. It's a place where you are grateful. And it's a peace that overtakes you, because it's like this love and this gratitude and like the beauty of the moment just becomes what you are. And you begin to, and more when you connect to those spaces, you begin to see how pale those energies that you used to exist in, of these adrenaline places, of this shock and this violence and this other. And you begin to see how very pale those energies and that frequency is compared to the elation and the joy and the beauty that overtakes your whole being, that doesn't shock you and put you in fear and put you in sadness and put you in anger, but you're just like immersed in this beautiful space, and you can't believe it exists. But you're not saying that to deny it. You're saying it because it's really overtaking you. It's like this event within your being, then it's all that exists. It's that moment, and you're like, wow.
It's healthy. It's not being an adrenaline junkie just looking for a fix. It's a healthy thing. It's not just like, oh, I'm looking to jump out of an airplane so I can feel it. Or so my parachute don't open or something.
It still is like this adrenaline thing. I mean, you could get joy joy
Yeah.
can like light you up and just as
Yeah.
much as that other,
Yeah.
right? But it
Yeah. You
doesn't
don't need
take
to
you
jump
to
off
those
a
other
cliff.
places. And
Yeah.
frankly, when you get your energy from those choices, from the joy and the wonderment and the amazement and the beauty
Yeah.
and all of
Yeah.
this, that like heals our world. It's an energy that
Right.
goes out and
Yeah.
heals our world.
Absolutely.
It's really powerful. It's
Yeah.
only elusive. I'm looking at this comment. Peace is elusive. Peace is only elusive if it's elusive within you. It starts within
Yeah.
self and then goes external. I'm not
But
talking about external.
yeah.
I'm
Right.
talking
You
about
can't do anything
in
about that.
every soul. It's a
Yeah.
personal experience within every soul.
It's
But
ongoing. It's an ongoing process. I mean,
it's
it is, and
ongoing.
it sure fuck
But
can seem elusive,
respect
though,
that
man. I
comment.
tell you, if your mindset is, and it has been mine for so many years, is that,
Yeah.
yeah, it's elusive when you can't. I mean, you can't control anything anybody else is doing around you, right?
No, you
And
can't. You're not responsible for
that's
anybody else.
the realization, and I really hate it, to be quite honest. But
Yeah.
yeah, you can only do so much, right? You can only do what you can do within. And as far as what anybody else is doing, man, I mean, what really sucks is you can influence it, but you can't bank on that it's going to help. And so when it does help their situation to change a little bit, you could just be grateful that it did and be like, oh, stunned that it did, right? Because I usually am still. But yeah, you can't do anything without, yeah, without, you can only control with what goes on within you, right? And let that project outward that's coming from within you. But you can't
See,
really
yeah,
affect how
and then
everybody goes through it. Yeah.
because okay, so the comment is it's elusive because not everyone wants it. Music Luber, I hear you. No, they
Yep.
don't want it. That's why, unfortunately,
Yep.
the process has been the suffering of
Yeah.
individuals and within themselves and losing sight of what they are and making choices that they are not. To me, that's
Yeah.
lost souls. And at some
Mhm.
point, to me, all of us either have been and or are, we're lost souls, and we won't know
Oh,
what we are until we know what we aren't. And
yeah,
once
good
we
point.
know clearly what we are not and what we don't choose from suffering, from our own suffering, then we begin to open, because we sure as shit don't want what has been, to
Yeah.
something else. And that's when the something else can come in.
And it's
Something's got
frustrating.
to be
I hear
better
what
than
they're
that.
saying, man. It's frustrating, though. I mean, it really is
Yeah,
because it's
absolutely.
hard to, especially if you let yourself go there. And I mean, I was listening to some lady had to say the other day regarding politics, and I'm like, about somebody moving out of the country, and I'm like, that made her day. I'm like, you don't even know you don't know these fucking people. Why are you happy they moved out of the country? This made your day, or this was the best news you've heard all day. I'm like,
Right, right.
yeah, yeah. Joe Blow moved outside of the U.S. My day's made now. And maybe if that was some neighbor that drove you nuts, it'd be a whole nother story. I mean, I could probably, even Carolyn could probably relate to that. But when it doesn't affect you per se, I mean, people are still caught in the funniest little things, and then those kind of things can real quick like get you to feel hopeless.
They
Yeah,
can. Yeah,
yeah,
you have to be vigilant
yeah,
and grounded within yourself. You have to
yeah,
make those choices, and it's responsibility of
yeah,
every soul. And you can't do it for them. You can invite them into it. You can be an example of it from what you've gone
yeah.
through. I cried for years. I used to make myself so miserable, and
Over
I
what?
I
Anything?
got my girls. You know that
Oh,
one, and
yeah, yeah, right.
and
Okay.
yeah, and yeah, and then you reach a point where you cry so much, you're in so much misery, and it gets
Mm-hmm.
old, because when you cry all the
Oh,
time,
God, tell
you
me.
got a headache that pounds, and when you cry a lot, you lose track of time, and then all of a sudden you're hungry, and you're like, well, didn't I just eat? But you've been crying for so long that it takes all this energy out of you.
Boy, you
You
really went to
know,
the meat with this. God damn, you forget you're hungry. You realize you're hungry. You forget
thank you.
time. Yeah,
Yeah,
wow. I mean, I
you
don't. I
forget
didn't
you're
think of
hungry.
it.
You lose track of time. You lose
Sounds
track of
like you've been on
everything.
that sounds like going on a spree, Carolyn. My goodness. God.
It's okay.
Right,
It's
yeah.
why I'm here now.
Yeah, of course.
Is
Absolutely.
I've been there, and yeah, you can make better choices for yourself, but it does have to be done within every soul, and they have to make the choice. But like myself, you, and others, we invite people into higher expressions of themselves, but they're the ones that have to make the shifts. Just like with everything that's been said in this podcast, it's my experience, it's his experience. You take a part and you pick what resonates for you, what works for you. You're the one that decides in your own personal reality, not us, but it's offered because that's the only place you can speak from. Anybody can, is your own reality, your own experience, and you offer it and you invite others into it, and you're like, this is how he did it, this is how it's done, this is how it's. But the beautiful thing is, over time you do see that mirrored in others. You're like, oh wow, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I went through that, oh yeah, I remember that, oh I remember that. And it's like, okay, I can see that I wasn't alone in this place, and that part's really awesome too. And you're like, damn, okay, it's nice. I wasn't alone, you know? Yeah. Thank you.
Well, yeah. Speaking of all that, yeah. Well, speaking of all of that, do you have anything more you would like to really add? I was thinking our guides would be chiming in at any moment now to throw us for a little loop here, which they do every week. You can go back
I'm
and look
looking
up
at.
the
I'm just.
episode.
I think what's happened now is, rather than the whole bleeping thing on and off, I just start getting this energy within me. It's just like,
Yeah,
okay, do you
me
see the
too. Me
time?
too.
Do
Remember,
you
I
see
told
the
you when we
time?
were talking. Yeah, yeah, right. When we were talking in private one time, I was like, well, I didn't. Well, I want to say something, but I didn't want to interfere with what you were saying. You're like, no, I was waiting for you to say something to stop it. Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, right. No, but okay. So Carolyn Lanier Roberts down in the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful state of Texas of enlightenment. Where in the world, the wonderful world of social media, can they find you?
Yeah. So I'm gonna, for some reason, I'm being guided. My mission. So my mission is as a reawakener of the conversation of the heart, and to me, this is ancient knowledge that is that I'm bringing through. There's others that bring it through in their own way as well. And for me, that's the conversation between the sacred mind, sacred heart, body, vehicle, voice of the soul. And my mission is to bring the sacred heart back into its proper alignment, is what I'm hearing, and its perception, its value. And so I'm on Facebook as Carolyn Lanier Roberts and Allowing the Light. I have an Etsy store because I have a light language infused photography and doodles, joy doodles on my Etsy store, which is Allowing the Light. My Instagram account is also Allowing the Light. There's an underscore between all of those. What else? What else, Larry?
Where else
Okay,
can you get YouTube, Instagram,
YouTube. Thank you. My
Facebook, all that good stuff. Yeah.
my my YouTube is okay. My YouTube is Allowing the Light, and my old one on YouTube is Carolyn Lea Roberts. Let me see, and I'm going to offer this because you and I didn't qualify this in the beginning of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Him and I both channel, and frankly, I would say anybody and everybody on earth channels. It's just, are you awakened to your channel? Are you listening to your channel? Right? So we go back and forth and we channel. And what I offer to anybody listening is channeling. When I say I hear or whatever, channeling, you're not really hearing, right? It's an energy, it's an impulse, an
Mm-hmm.
energy pulse that you're
Not through a
receiving, that's
voice. Yeah.
interpreted by your pineal gland in your mind, in your brain, that is received and interpreted through the experience of you, is what I'm hearing within me now. And then you bring it through from where you are, and it's offered. And so Larry and I both channel and we kind of go back and forth and do that. And the whole point of this podcast is that we are here to plant seeds, and we plant seeds of a lot of things, bringing through a lot of stuff, right?
Many things.
And
Yeah.
sound right? Okay. And then the last thing I'm going to say is that I offer private sessions, soul sessions. And in those soul sessions, I work with what is called the Library of the Heart, which is the Akash, except for I work with where I'm guided to work with is your feelings and your emotions, because those are creational energies which stamp on you and your whole lineage and carry forward and shape your reality significantly. They shape your reality. This is just one of those things that isn't in the common lexicon yet. It's coming. It's starting to seep up though in the spiritual community. Thank God. So when I'm connecting with you, yes, you are this person or this person or this person, but it's truly not significant as how you felt and in this experience and how you felt in this one and your emotions in this one, because those affect you. The other thing that I do is I'm just a pure channel, and I bring through whatever your higher self wants to communicate with you. And I always do that balance with what you are seeking, because that's the higher self. And then you're here physically on the earth, and there's no point to just bring through what higher self wants if you can't apply it. So yes. And other than that, I'm going to say thank you for your time and attention, because to me, all that exists is this present moment. And as you've given me that, you've given me everything. That's love. Thank you so much. I truly hope this served the souls listening in this now and any future now. Larry.
Well, and of course, I am Larry Locken, your host with the most from coast to coast, giving up all the toast, giving you coolness, hotness, everything you could have wanted in this. But you can find me. I'll keep it really short and simple at this point, because unlike Carolyn, I'm on like every social media platform. Why I'm a glutton like that, I don't know, but every motherfucking one that was ever created, probably except for SoundCloud.
Right.
And that's because I'm not a very good singer, even though I try to. But when I do, I'm just screwing with people. So you can find me everything I've done, your Facebook, YouTube, the 5 YouTube channels I have. Everything you can find at Rockin' Locken. My last name is Locken, and so of course the Rockin is Rocken. Rockin' Larry Locken's social media outlets. That's a Facebook page. You can go down the list and find out all the, grams and yams and ticks and bips and bops and yips and yaps and X's, and hopefully all my X's will be moving to Texas at some point down there near Carolyn. Yeah, all my X's ought to move to Texas. Yeah, but or even further east to Tennessee. Yeah, where George Strait will hang his hat for you. But you can find me there, Rockin' Larry Locken social media outlets, or the Larry Locken Network is actually the secondary name of the Facebook page. You can have a secondary name of these pages. Like I said, there's 5 YouTube channels, and every other platform that's on there. The way you would know any platform that you're on, you just type in Larry Locken channel, one word, and I'll be there. Now, some of them I have secondary names too as well, like the Lemonadian, Pleiadian on Lemon 8, but still the main thing is the Larry Locken channel, like with Blue Sky. It's Pleiadian Blue Sky Orbs, but it's also the Larry Locken channel. So you can type that in anywhere, and if it doesn't come up, I'm probably not there. And if it doesn't come up, we'll keep searching a few more times, so to make sure, like 10 or 20 more times, just to make sure. I wouldn't want you to miss any of the wonderful enlightenment that I have to put out for humanity. I mean, I would be remiss if I would feel so bad if you did, mainly for my own ego, but for other reasons too. But other than that, we've enjoyed having you here, and we'll be back next Thursday, of course, at the same time, 9 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Central, or Carolyn's at 9 o'clock Pacific on the West Coast, where I'm at here on the Oregon coast, overlooking the lovely Pacific Ocean. And that would be 5 o'clock in the UK, noon back east on the East Coast. Yeah, so that's about what it is. And for my lovely partner on her 28th birthday down in San Antonio, Texas.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Right. Down in the big, gorgeous state of Texas, where everything's bigger and brighter and deeper and all that good shit. All right. So from San Antonio to Portland, we've got you covered. All right. I'm Rockin' Larry Locken, and it's been real and it's been fun. And yes, it has been really a lot of fun. Anytime Carolyn's with me, it's great. And so goodbye to everybody. Goodbye to Instagram. Yay, goodbye to Facebook Live. Yay, goodbye. Carolyn's waving, just goodbye to Twitch. Oh yeah, Twitch. I got that wonderful ghost follower on there. Okay. And so that would be that. And goodbye to hip hop, TikTok, bit bop, and it don't stop and it won't stop. We'll go there. Okay, goodbye to them. Carolyn, just wave bye to them. And for everybody on YouTube that still might be listening, or we're sorry about your luck, but we're gonna let you go now. You have to get through.
Talk to you in a minute.
Yes, yeah. I'll call you right away here. You know, my right aways with Carolyn are like an hour, but it'll be right away.
They're right away. Yeah. Okay, great. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Yeah. Okay, here. Let me exit if I can X out here. I think it's the X that X's us out, but here we go. Okay, good, we got it.